to help its pollination. The orchid has petals that look like a female wasp. It also releases a scent that is like the female wasp. When the wasp tries to grab the petal, the hammer snaps and gets pollen on its back. If he moves on and does the same thing to another orchid, the flower is pollinated.
Why did that look like an alien holding up a...
Close this door.
Was it like a plant?
Widow.
Widow.
Widow. Oh. Widow. I don't know how they do.
Some plants, however, do not give their pollinators any reward of any kind. In the warmer parts of Europe lives a whole group that bamboozle their pollinators into thinking that they're going to get a really sensational reward, a sexual one. They're little orchids, and their flowers reproduce remarkably closely the signals that enable a male bee or wasp to recognize a female of the same species. Several have blue patches. One is fringed with what looks like fur. A wasp's wings in the right light do flash iridescent blue, and its abdomen is covered with thick brown fur. A female wasp also pumps out an identifying perfume, but the orchid does the same, and the result is irresistible. As the male wasp nuzzles forward in his attempt to mate, he butts the pollinia which stick to him like yellow horns. He seems to be well aware that something has happened to him, but there's nothing he can do about it, and he flies off to try his luck elsewhere. Which, of course, is what the orchid requires, because this time he deposits the pollen on another bogus female. The hairs on many of these orchids run downwards, as though the female is sitting with her head up. But some reproduce her clinging head down, and then the male must land that way if he wants to mate, and he will get the pollen stuck to his rear. This one too seems fully aware that he's got rather more than he bargained for. The orchid's mimicry is so convincing and enticing that sometimes a flower will attract a whole scrum of sex-crazed suitors. Some are trying to get to the orchid and will inadvertently deliver the pollen. Other males, since there seems to be a full house, attempt to mate with one another.
Okay.
Why did
Don't
David
normally
ask
after
no
they
one?
sting you, don't they normally die?
Yes,
Those are bees.
yes. Those.
Wasp.
Wasps can stab you several times.
Yes, and keep on stinging.
So,
Male bees.
That's why it's
But
suggested
that's
to
shank.
burn That's why you...
their stingers
All right,
like their stingers like a shank.
Okay, the carrion flower. This is more on mimicry. The carrion flower smells like rotted meat. Flies need to lay eggs in meat. They go from flower to flower looking for dead meat. How is this an example of pollination? Well, what's the fly going to do?
Try to lay eggs.
Yes, it's going to go from plant to plant to plant. It's going to get that pollen on its feet and hands, and then it's going to move it from plant to plant.
So it's a discount
Whoops.
bee
I think I missed
laying
one.
eggs in a discount flower.
Which structure is used to attract insects? Which one?
And,
A. What's it called? What's this part called?
Oh,
stems.
The petals.
Stems.
That's really the most identical part of a flower.
Which of the following are pollinators? Choose all of them. Is wind a pollinator?
yes.
Is rain?
Yes.
Is running water?
Yes.
Yes.
Bees?
Yes.
Mice?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe?
That's
Large
not-
mammals like elk?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Let's see. Whoops, I might move that one.
A through E.
So A, B, C, D, and E. So why would large animals not be?
And they just destroy the flower.
Because I can't figure
You ain't never seen
They're
a
too
wild
big to
mouse in
catch.
the forest?
You know, because maybe just because they're so large, you know, it wouldn't have that same effect as something small enough to get to the plant.
You just say mice lay eggs.
Pollen, one more. Shh. Pollen is the male sex cell for plants. True or false? True. It is the female part is called the ovule, so that one is true. Is this? I can't remember how far. Oh wait, I guess not. Is it 19? Yeah, I think we got two more. And a disadvantage of sexual reproduction for plants is many pollinators will be attracted, more likelihood of variation, high cost of energy. The offspring will have no genetic variation. A disadvantage of sexual reproduction. Which one? C, high cost of energy. Sounds right to me. If the pollen of a flower lands on its own stigma, this is considered self-pollination, cross-pollination, both, or none. A, self-pollination because it's on the same plant. Yes, and we are stopping at, we are stopping here today. No assignment, just make sure you have all of your makeup work caught up.